Last season, the Monmouth linebacking core led by two fifth-year seniors, Dave Demerjen and Gary Anacuzzi. Both players now have since left the program with their eligibility being used up. Along with head coach Kevin Callahan, I'm Matt Harmon, talking specifically here in spring practice about the linebacking core, so important in the 4-3 setup that Monmouth runs defensively. Coach, right now, with those two players gone, there's not a whole lot of experience when you look around in terms of upper-class players.
Well, there's not, but we do have guys that have been on the field and have played in games. You know, at the middle linebacker position, Dan Sullivan played the entire 2012 season at the middle linebacker spot. He's back with us this spring, coming off a knee surgery this winter, but he seems to be performing pretty well, and we're very happy with his progress. And you've got Tyler Thompson, who saw quite a bit of action a year ago in 2013 as well. So, those guys are doing a nice job in the inside spot. And then Ethan Gambale, who really came on late in the 2013 season, saw a little game action toward the end of the year, and he gives us a third guy at the position and to challenge the other two. So there's three guys at this position. They're all working hard, and they all have different levels of experience.
When you think about Thompson, he was the one guy in that mix last year that did play in all 12 games, whether it be special teams or on the defensive side of the ball. How important was that experience for him as a freshman now coming back for his second spring?
Well, it's huge. Anytime you have a player that's played in every one of your games the previous year, they bring that experience with them. He understands what the game speed is all about. He understands the level of play that he's going to have to play up to be successful in games this year. So, I think last year is certainly going to help him and as he moves forward and develops in the inside linebacker position.
As for Sullivan, you mentioned starter in 2012. Also in 2011, he was the starter in that middle linebacker spot. To get him back on the field in 2014 should provide a little bit of depth and obviously experience in that spot.
It will. He'll be a fifth-year player for us, so we're happy to have him back. He brings an awful lot of experience with him, and as you said, he's played in a number of games for us, and we expect him to play at a high level.
When you think now at the outside linebacker spot, that is where there's a little bit more experience back. John Sieczkowski, who started. Peyton Minnick was a player who saw action in all 12 games last year as well.
John and Peyton played in every single game last year, and as you said, John was a starter at the one outside spot. They're young players. They both played as true freshmen a year ago. So, I think the experience that they were able to get last season is going to really benefit them as we go into 2014. You can kind of just tell the difference in how they carry themselves out here as sophomores, and that the game experience that they got last year is really bringing them to the front as leaders.
When you talk about those two players specifically in terms of experience and maybe leadership now in a really different role, without having Demerjen or Anacuzzi to kind of carry that load a little bit, it's a little different turning to two sophomores, but those are the guys.
They are the guys, and as Dave Demerjen was an exceptional leader in the linebacker position for us and of our entire defense in 2013. He was a fifth-year senior, and he was the one that everybody looked up to, and somebody is going to have to kind of ascend to that role and become the leader of the defensive unit, especially on the back end, the linebackers in the secondary. Another guy that figures into the mix in the outside spot is Anthony McDonough. Anthony McDonough sat out most of last year with an injury. He did have some off-season surgery and hasn't really gotten back to full participation yet this spring, but we're hopeful that he will get some work in before the spring practices are finished.
One other player mentioning injuries that is back from last year, Madison Miller, who's been working into the rotation at the outside linebacker spot.
Yeah, Madison, unfortunately tore his ACL last August, but he worked incredibly hard throughout the winter and the early spring to rehabilitate that. He's out here practicing with us. He's cleared to do everything, and it's just a matter of him getting back to playing football again. So we're very happy to have him back out here, and it's good to see him out here working.
And finally, Coach, rounding out kind of the depth at the position at the outside linebacker spot, Lucas Brown and Brandon Anthony.
Both guys who've seen limited action. Really, neither one of them saw action last year. They're both guys that have had great winters and are challenging for spots here this spring.
When you think about the position as a whole, not necessarily just during the course of the spring, but then leading into the summer, there are some positions and obviously playing time battles that you would expect to have.
Well, there is, and the linebacker spot is one. I think it's far from being settled on who will be the three guys on opening day. There's a lot of football to be played between now and then, and there's going to be a lot of battles within both the inside and outside positions.
Coach, appreciate the time. Thanks for the insight into the linebacking core.
Thanks, Matt.
Here now with redshirt sophomore John Sieczkowski, who is one of the leaders of this linebacking core. John, can you believe that? I mean, last year you're on the field all 12 games, but yet with graduation of Dave Demerjen and Gary Anakuzi, now everyone's kind of looking to you to be a leader of this group.
Yeah, it's a lot because Dave usually was with all the younger kids. He helped everyone out, and he was like a big leader of our defense. So now I have the younger kids and Bo. They all come to me to like get some help.
Evaluate spring practice up until this point. I know no full pads as of yet, but with helmets and shoulder pads, things are really starting to move a little bit.
Yeah, everything's going good. All the younger defensive players are doing good. The linebackers, they're asking a lot of questions. They're getting it really good though.
When you think about the linebacking group in general, you know, right now it is a mix of some veterans like yourself and a lot of young guys, which, you know, those guys will be important come the season to provide a little bit of depth.
Oh, yeah, definitely, because with the linebackers, we switch in and out a lot during games, so everyone needs to know how to know the whole defense and needs to know, like, everything that's going on.
How important was last year for you specifically to get a full year under your belt experience-wise and get back on the field after sitting out your freshman year?
I think it was very important because, especially because Dave's gone now, so we needed someone else out there that had a full year of experience to help out with the younger guys, and it was a very important thing for me, I think.
And obviously at the outside spot, you're at one position, and Peyton Minnick, who played great last year in his freshman year, kind of anchoring that spot right now.
Yeah, so that's good. We have me and Peyton. Peyton had a lot of experience. He would go in for me and Dave in every single game, so he's going to be a very good part of our defense too.
What's the expectation for this group, you think, for the remaining part of the spring and then going into next season? You know, the defense kind of had a rebound of sorts last year, and obviously the pressure would be on you guys to kind of continue to keep that roll going.
Yeah, we got to go out there and we have to win every period against our offense. Even though they're on our team, we still have to win, and we got to keep going how we're going.
One of the leaders of the linebacking core expected next season, redshirt sophomore John Sieczkowski, covering the Monmouth University football team. For Hawk Vision, I'm Matt Harmon.